Okay, so today I got a treadmill motor power board, it looks like, to work on. So what we're going to do is change out the capacitors. Most likely it's one of these two. And the reason I say this is because when I flip it over and I took a look at the bottom, we have our first capacitors here. And it doesn't look like there's any kind of damage or such here, but right here it looks like it discharged. So an easy way to check these and discharge them is to hook a probe up to it and let it light the light, and then go from there to drain out the cells. You don't want these discharging on you while you're trying to solder. So we'll show you how to do that here in a second. But what we're going to end up doing is changing every single capacitor on here and getting this back to the client. So what we're going to do is end up hooking this up to discharge it, and then we'll go into the soldering phase and show you how to do that. So what a lot of people do is they'll use a screwdriver and hook it, and they'll bridge the connections here. We don't do that. We just take an alligator clip, hook it up to the one probe, and then touch it here, and it'll light the bulb and drain it. But seeing as these are already discharged, because it's bad, you're not going to have that issue. So what you just take your standard probe and hook it up to the ground, and then hook it up here, and your light will cause it to turn on and drain it, and then after it's drained, it's safe to take off without discharging on you. But seeing as these have already discharged, apparent by the shock on the board, we'll just move to taking the capacitors off and working on them. Okay, so after taking our one suspect capacitor off, it was actually loose. We can tell that it did go bad just by examining it. It has a distinct burnt odor, and we can see where it's actually exploded on the bottom there, and we can see on the board where it has done damage also. So what we're going to do is change every single one of them on here, and then go from there to actually getting this thing rebuilt and put back in the system. Alright, so we finally changed all our fuses out, our capacitors out, and changed our fuses also, just to make sure that nothing was going to go bad. So what we see is a completely rebuilt board here, and we're going to hand it off to the customer, let them hook it up, and see what happens with it. A little bit dirty on the backside from the flux, but we can clean that off. Not a big deal. It's not going to affect whether it runs or not. So what we have here is a rebuilt board with new capacitors, and we're going to say it's complete.